another tour of the garden, and it's been a while. I actually spent last week at a writer's conference, and so everything looks like an amazing jungle, and it's a little bit wild looking. But I still haven't weeded very much, and you'll see a few more of them creeping in. But I'm still pretty darn happy with the outcome of this Back to Eden garden. And of course, I want to give you a picture of all the growth. So here in Oregon, we've had hot temperatures until yesterday. Yesterday it rained for the first time since like way back in March and April. And it rained enough to kind of give me a break from watering, but not enough to really stay wet. So got the lettuce is actually getting overgrown here, but my grape is looking beautiful. It's Lizzie behind the camera, by the way. And I have chickens, and the chickens keep escaping into here because of course all the bounty. So you'll see places where they've gotten into it and it's kind of scratched around. But here's my peanuts, my late started peanuts. I don't know if they're actually going to get done in time, but they're sure looking beautiful. These I just planted. These are seedling yellow chard that will come in for the winter time in the fall. Crooknecks, which have been keeping me filled for my plant stand, which I still haven't posted, but it's actually been really fun to put flowers and crookneck squash, zucchini squash, and cucumbers and tomatoes out there and make a little tiny spinny money. Put back into seeds, right? Okay, come this way. So I ended up being able to harvest artichokes off of this, and then it got so tall it actually fell over. But I need to know what I need to do for the winter. If anybody knows if you're like supposed to cut them off at the base and start over for the year, I don't know what to do. But I don't think it should stay like that. It seems like it's too floppy and messy. So my little cucumbers are still coming on. I planted those late on purpose so I would have a continued harvest. And I've picked a few beets out of here. My celery's still coming. And I think this whole area is suffering a little bit from the Great Wall of Corn. I do not get very much sun past the corn, especially since those trees block the evening light or the morning light, and so it's a little bit of a problem. I think next year I'll bring the corn over and put the peppers and the artichokes and all of that on that side. Although the artichokes, I think they stay in, so we'll see. So I planted some more cucumbers there. Those will be fun. Those are lemon cucumbers. And see, these are making even more weird little babies. Little artichokes in there, but again, it's starting to look kind of strange, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do to put them to bed for the, for the winter time. I have all kinds of cucumbers coming on. My carrots seem pretty pathetic. I don't have any good ideas. This didn't work very well. My carrots, I haven't got a single carrot out of my garden this year, and I have to admit that's unusual and kind of sad. So I don't know if it's from all the new mulch that I brought into the garden or the slugs. Probably both, but that's what's happening. My peppers are finally setting, which I feel like my garden is way behind everybody else's, but it's not way behind for my friends who live here in Oregon. So, well, I guess not all of them. Some of them got to jump on things or have more sun than me. But look, I got a purple bell pepper that's actually coming. It's called purple something. Look, Lizzie, can you see it? Can you see the purple? Yay, it makes me happy. And there's several of them down in there. And so I was thinking that they weren't going to seed or get to harvest for a while, but I think they'll just be another couple weeks and we'll be picking. I only have 2 of the okra that made it, and I don't think they're going to make it into fruiting season before the weather changes around here. But it's still fun. But look at, we got zucchinis and crooknecks, and then my scarlet runner beans are amazing. They're loaded with beans in there too, which I'm not a huge, I don't eat them of much. I actually want to harvest them and keep my own seeds. I would like to make it so I never have to buy scarlet runner beans ever again. But the fun part is that before I clipped my chicken's feathers, they would get up there and roost in the top of that, and it was actually kind of pretty to me, the chicken up there on top of everything. So zinnias are coming along. The corn is, the pollen has dropped down onto the tassels. The tassels are starting to dry out, but the corn is not full size yet. There's a few pieces that are getting close, but when you feel it, it's like a little bit skinny and not good yet. Cosmos is looking big. This is where the chicken was digging earlier today, which I haven't put the dirt back yet. But basically they just rototilled the topsoil, right? So it's not really what ideal for the Back to Eden because it exposes all the dirt, and so you have to come back in and do that. These are all about to bloom, which is going to be pretty when it does. There's all these little pink flowers all over it. And these are setting gourds like crazy. And I hung my little bell, which makes me happy. I kind of want to do, what is that? What is that Pavlov's something where you ring a bell and teach them to come when they're, so I want to hear tick tick and then ring the bell and have them know that food is coming. I think it's silly to want that, but it's fun. So, and these are just still so cute to me. Some of them, this one did this. Some of mine are doing things, like my other squashes are kind of doing that too. So I don't really know what that's about, if that's a soil condition thing or sun condition, but there's plenty that are growing and getting bigger. So we'll just let them do their thing. Although I noticed that happens on the pumpkins too, so maybe that's normal. So you get to come through the jungle maze, which I think is kind of fun. Time to harvest my beans again, because they're growing like crazy. And I have the runner beans coming up on the other side, so that's fun. But look at my pumpkin. I haven't been home. Like I said, I went to a writer's retreat, which was awesome. I got to meet with my agent and see a bunch of writer friends and be encouraged. And encourage them. That was really, that was nice to have it be both ways. So I kind of need to come in and do some TLC in here. But look at my pumpkin. Look at that. This is a random weird volunteer plant, and it's loaded with them all the way down. Can you see down there on the camera? You can see there's big ones hanging off the trellis. The trellis is holding great. There's little ones tucked in all here and there that are going to grow in, and it's just really fun. I really like it. So I guess we should probably go this way because it's easier. So these are delicatas and acorns. That one and this one. I'm not sure which one was which. I can't remember. And weirdly, this one is putting out all kinds of blooms but hasn't set a fruit yet. So I think that they have to finish blooming before they start to come on, which that'll be fun, waiting for that. Happy rabbits. I have little baby bunnies that are getting bigger by the second. Those are over there. And then over there, can you see? Over here, can you climb over? Next year, this is going to be the project to get a better setup for the, you can see I have tomato hoops, but they are nowhere adequate. They are not adequate. And look at this. These are still my Brussels sprouts, and they're still growing in here, but they are not actually making, I guess if you get down in there, I can see some bigger ones. But I thought they would already be done by now. It's so weird to me. I thought they were done in the spring. So much learning going on over here. So let's go over this way. Sweet potatoes are looking pretty. But again, this is inside that plastic container. They don't like it super much, and I don't blame them. They'd rather be in the dirt. I planted a new round of beets here, and I got one nasturtium and some beans coming up. Calendula. I planted my potatoes, and I was doing that experiment, and so far it tells me it doesn't work because it's not growing. And but I got some sunflowers that I'm pretty excited about. And over here I have peanuts that are getting more sun than over there because of the corn. So I wanted to see if they would get to the point where they flower. And I don't know how tall or big they get before they put out their flowers, but they're definitely growing. So we'll just wait and see. So these are volunteer cantaloupe, I think, a melon of some sort. So look, this is a weed in here. Not something I have a ton of, but it's definitely growing in here where these were coming up. Let me get that out of there so it doesn't compete with them. But not very many weeds. It's actually pretty nice. But I have black-eyed Susan vines there, and I'm hoping that by this fall they'll climb up here and get going. So we still have growing, we won't get a first frost until into November, like around November 15th. So there was enough time to get these things to actually be mature and pretty. I don't know if they'll set their fruit and flower, if they have enough time for that, but I'm sure going to try, because I'm really, really enjoying the peace that comes with coming out and finding the beauty of it. So these are zinnias that I started. So it's fun to see something that you started as a seed when it comes all into full bloom. And I have kohlrabi here, still going. And the beets are really good. I've had a couple of them already. Some flowers hiding back in there. And just yesterday, I planted noodle beans and scarlet runner beans and red noodle beans and green ones. I think the red ones are called something else, but so I'm kind of hoping this trellis does what that one back there does for the entrance here. And I don't even care if the noodle beans actually get grown by this fall. I just want it to be like a tunnel. Because it's pretty. And look, I planted these. We should probably make markers of these because my ones over there are as tall as the house, the gable on the house. Look how huge these are, and they're already here. And I put some beans in there, pole beans. And I noticed that it's starting to use the sunflower as a trellis, which would be cool. And then, of course, the tomatoes are totally loaded, and we're harvesting already. And actually, it's really fun because last week, my daughter, Debbie, my third kid, we moved her out of the house and off to college. And then my oldest boy, who is a senior in college, he's in transition. He downsized from a house with 4 buddies down to an apartment with 1, and they missed the dates on their move, so he's home for 12 days. And him and my husband are packing their lunches for work, and they're like, it's so good to have all these cucumbers and tomatoes and beans and all this. They're just totally loving having the snack inside of their lunches for work and stuff. So it's been fun. And so look at how pretty it is. I just end up coming out here and wandering around and trying to find the new things. I am a little bit sad at how much of a mess the chickens make. So the chickens for a long time hadn't discovered that there's bugs underneath the mulch. Well, that has changed. So now they pretty much skip all bugs except for what's underneath the mulch. And so I've been pinning them in and giving them a day and then putting them up for a couple days and giving them a day. So it's kind of fun for me too, instead of destroying my stuff. But come look at these dahlia flowers. These dahlia, see the big red ones over here? I can't even go find one of those red flowers. So pretty. So one of my goals is to have enough flowers that I can have vases full of flowers in my house, give them away. See, look at the chicken mess. Isn't that terrible? So I have to come in and rake it back in. So that is probably my one and only complaint so far about the Back to Eden. So, and that might be enough for some people to be done with. But look at that. Look how huge that is. It's like the size of a dinner plate. It's so huge. I love it. It's so pretty. Like that's like one flower vase kind of a deal. These ones aren't quite so big, but they're super pretty. So I'm going to clean this one up and do a little bit more and water it down in so it sits a little bit before I let my chickens out again. But come see my baby watermelon. So somebody on YouTube said that if you get fruit set on your watermelon, that it takes about 45 days to get it to the point where it's at its full. And I was really late getting my cantaloupes and watermelons to take because of slugs. And I actually might put a slug video in right here and show you their nastiness at night.
Okay, you know you're crazy when you actually come out to make the slugs eat the poison, because there's so many of them and they are eating all my good stuff. So there's that one. There's a little one over here. He's right there, little one. That's a little one. And this one, oh, there's 2 of them over here. Look at that one's coming, running for the food. Let's see if they get it. That one was nomming it. 2 of them, oh my gosh. Eat the poison, eat the poison. Drink from the cup. So I fed this one, like I dropped it right in front of him. Doesn't like the light shining on him. But he's actually eating it. That's kind of disgusting, isn't it? But I was like, there's so many in a small area. There's one back there. I kind of sprinkled some on him, so I don't know what happens. So I'm testing, like, does slug bait really effectively kill him? There's one over there. Look at, I haven't even moved, like a couple feet. There's one big one right there. You see him? He's eating it too. Yuck. These guys are the best show though, right here. Ooh, they're in a hurry to get out of here. They decided to come and run away. Run away, sluggies, run away. See, slugs aren't actually that slow, are they? Check that sucker out. I swear they're chasing tail. They're looking to make more slugs. Well, that was probably highly inappropriate, but you know, slug love. these guys. They cannot live. They're eating my baby watermelons. They cannot live.
So you can see my enemy, my nemesis. But I have baby watermelon, so it's doing pretty good, and I'm hoping that it can kick in while we still have a couple weeks of sunshine left. And but before we get there, look at these. These make me happy. Check that out. It's so big, and they're just starting to put the heads on. And these are alyssums that I started, dill that I started, and some other sunflowers that I started. I don't think these ones are the kind that get that big, but super fun. My peonies dried out and done for the year. No, you leave my watermelon alone. So right there, I don't want to draw the dog's attention to it because she'll find it later. There's my baby watermelon. And there's a couple of them in there, but that one's definitely the biggest. And there's one hanging right there. And there's some baby cantaloupes over there hanging that are just getting started. So this, what I envisioned was this being a jungle of melons. And this is where I get the most sun in my house. So I'm actually really excited about that. So I don't know if you guys remember me telling you, but there was a time when my pots on my back patio had the wrong kind of dirt in it, and I was having the dickens of a time trying to get anything to grow. It was like stunted, and there's nothing sadder than when you try to make a beautiful pot on your back patio and it literally stays the same size as when you planted it. But I started fertilizing it, and look, and now all the plants that I'm growing, the ones that I put in from seed, are starting to take off too. So yay, look at this. Isn't that pretty? And I feel like it's going to be that way. It's going to be really beautiful and nice for several more weeks. These I don't remember the name of these, but I started those, and I got those at the store, but they were practically dead, and then they came back alive. So yay, it's fun. Let's go see over here. Pumpkin patch is thriving. As you can see, way over there, it's like a jungle, and I love it. We had a deer out there. The deer don't come into my property because of the dogs. So the dogs may eat my pumpkins, but at least they eat it and not the deer, because I think the deer would do more damage. So she eats random weird things. You want a bean? Yeah, let's see if you actually eat that. Probably not. She'll probably chew on it and then spit it out. Yeah, like there, she's like, well, what did you give me this time? They do like tomatoes, and they like crooknecks and zucchini and stuff, so that's kind of, in fact, the cucumbers that are growing up the back trellis, the dog will actually get a cucumber from the outside of the fence and pull it through and like break it in half or whatever to get to it. So it's a good thing I have my garden fenced, because it would be miserable to have the dogs. The dogs would be destroying things. Oh, and I see, looks like they might have gotten back in there. So pumpkins are all hidden and tucked in there. I kind of can't wait until they die back and I can actually find all the pumpkins. It's a little bit of a jungle. It's kind of creeping out onto the grass, which I don't mind. I think it's lovely. This is my nectarine tree and my lemon trees. They're not very big, but they're still growing, so we'll give them kudos for that. These are flowers. This don't seem like they're doing very fast growth, but they're doing it. I have strawberries over there, which I might have to eat those when I get done videoing here. And I should probably eat my leek, but I think it looks cool poking out of there. It's kind of beautiful. Sometimes that's just what it is. This looks pretty much the same. Slowly coming along. I think this will be most the fun in the fall when everything else kind of shuts down and this is still going. So, so that's pretty much it. We have stuff going on over in the food forest, but I probably won't update this time. My husband's moving more mulch around, which is awesome. It's lovely when he helps me because he's got bigger muscles than I do. And we are kind of doing it section by section. But I did plant some stuff over there. I planted some more leeks and some carrots and some beans and stuff like that. And I have some plans to get some more of that in there. But we have to start with the mulch, because the mulch is what keeps the weeds down so that the plants can actually kind of kick in and thrive. So it was really amazing when I went to the writers conference to see how many people I ended up that had shared. They'd come and found my videos on here and they kind of talked to me, or they ended up talking about their garden, because of course if you're a gardener you're kind of talking about it this time of year. And it was such a common ground, and it was such a place of peace and recreation, especially for the writers who were trying to navigate their self-confidence and assurance and continue forward in the journey of putting their work out there and having people say yes and no and all the game of it. And so I really appreciated it. My husband and I are going to continue to do it. I think that we're working together about a plan for next spring and some of the ways that's going to come together, on top of still doing the writing thing. You know, I was working this morning, sent some submissions out, and here I am this evening getting a video, an update to send out to YouTube, just because it's been fun. I have a lot of people locally that are like, I like looking at your garden, make another video. So that's what we're doing. And so thank you for listening and watching, of course, and thank you, Lizzie, for videoing me, even though you probably have 20 other things you'd rather do. And I will see you later. Oh, did you see the thumbs up? Was that the magic thumbs up? Did they see that? Did you make it so they can see that? Yes. And volleyball season, I'm a coach. Volleyball season has started, and actually I'm a high school varsity coach with a couple other coaches that help. And Lizzie made the team, so I get to watch her play too, so that's super fun. You could probably see pictures of all that on Instagram if you want to see that. So thank you again, and I'm going to post the slug video in here, and I don't know, maybe Tim working on the mulch pile, something like that. But thank you for watching. Until next time. I always say besos, which means kisses in Spanish. Besos, besos. See you later.